If you took naked pictures of yourself on your cell phone, you hide your face. People, like, hide your face.
And by the way, Blake Lively had just been on stage like 20 minutes earlier.
Really? Because it sort of looked like Blake Lively, but it's hard to tell from this angle. Anyway.
Regarding this Blake, Ryan, Justin case, that things may have just transformed from civil to criminal, and I'll tell you why.
Like, that's just not legal. That's just, it's not something that ever happens. You can't just, how will Judge Lyman react to this subpoena? Now, there's a lot of implications I'm going to have to break down in several videos.
Explosive update since it all began. It's the final piece of the puzzle. It pulls everybody in. The New York Times, the PR firms, Brian Friedman must be having an absolute field day. The case is now solved. Essentially, she got caught filing a sham lawsuit.
Lights dim and the camera pans in as we uncover a Hollywood showdown more explosive than any blockbuster. Blake Lively's super shady Vanzan Inc. lawsuit, secretly filed to pry into Justin Baldoni's private messages, then abruptly withdrawn, just one day before her high-stakes CRD complaint, sparking whispers of legal gamesmanship and ethical minefields.
Why do you lie like this, Blake? Why? Why do you do this? Do you understand? You are not smarter than the internet.
Explosive ex-posts from Melanie King calling it a straw lawsuit.
Judge Lyman is going to be pissed. Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Stephanie Jones, their entire side, and then this sham lawsuit that they secretly filed last year. I want to break down because this is getting pretty serious.
And podcaster Zach Peter dredging up old Green Lantern affair rumors that threaten to upend Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson's history.
Did we just get confirmation that Ryan Reynolds cheated on Scarlett Johansson with Blake Lively? That's where they met. Ryan Reynolds was the Green Lantern, Blake Lively played his love interest. But at the time, Ryan Reynolds was married to Scarlett Johansson, and Blake Lively was dating Penn Badgley.
Whispers of on-set tension and alleged harassment on It Ends With Us.
Did you ever feel uncomfortable at all in your dealings with Justin?
No, not at all. Maybe Blake smelled his kindness, mistook it for weakness, and tried to take advantage and take power, so.
While an unexpected Time100 Titan nod to Lively collides with Backlash.
She is a survivor of the worst crime someone can commit against a woman. Never underestimate a woman's ability to endure pain. It's not for us to have shame. It's for them.
Hugh Jackman's cozy jokes with Reynolds now read like veiled barbs hinting at a secret feud and clandestine affair with Sutton Foster.
Honestly, I loved it. I had the time out. I had one little gripe. Don't tell Ryan. One little gripe. Put the phones down and tell you a little story. Like, this is Chatham House rules. Come on.
Even Blake's long-buried crush on Brad Pitt resurfaces, raising the question that could old Hollywood infatuations hold the key to today's drama. Private texts leaked to the New York Times, crisis management gurus in the wings.
They said, we want to take her clients. They said there is a kill story dropping about Steph.
I guess the issue, the biggest one for me, the text messages, right, that first appeared in the New York Times, December 22nd, Baldoni and his team. You guys say that those texts were not leaked, they were subpoenaed.
And reputations hanging by a thread that all lead to one burning question: what really happened behind the scenes? Stick around, because we're diving deep into every twist, every secret filing, and every jaw-dropping revelation coming up next.
They're both going at this full bore.
When stars collide.
The latest on the legal bombshell.
Shocking behind-the-scenes drama.
Some people are in for the kill.
Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni.
So you believe Blake Lively wrestled control of the film?
She tried to, yes.
In a blockbuster Hollywood feud.
I hope that the truth comes out.
The entertainment world is buzzing with the latest developments in the ongoing saga between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, and it's serving more drama than their film It Ends With Us could ever script. Blake Lively has allegedly made what critics are calling a super shady legal move through a company called Vanzan Inc, which has now come to light and is raising eyebrows across Hollywood.
But first, I am totally seized by the updates in the Ryan and Blake case. I think the case is now solved, and it's so much more ugly and more psychotic than any of us could have possibly envisioned. Essentially, she got caught filing a sham lawsuit. Power tripping. This has got to be white collar crime.
Melanie King, a vocal commentator on the situation, recently took to X, formerly Twitter, to share court documents and her unfiltered take on on what she believes is happening behind the scenes. This has to be a straw lawsuit, a tactic allegedly used to weaponize the legal system for fishing expeditions or intimidation, King wrote in her post on April 18th, pulling no punches in her assessment of the situation. The document suggests that the lawsuit was filed under Vanzan Inc, an apparently dormant company owned by Reynolds and Lively, in what King characterizes as a calculated move to access private communications on Jennifer Abel's phone, targeting Justin Baldoni and his production company, Wayfarer.
I'm going to be calling the Vanzan lawsuit the fake one, and that the one that's going on now is the real one. To me, they're both fake.
For those who haven't been keeping up with this Hollywood heavyweight battle, The Hollywood Reporter's December 23rd report unveiled portions of text conversations between Lively, Baldoni's publicist Jennifer Abel, and crisis management expert Melissa Nathan. These messages became public ammunition in the sexual harassment case against Baldoni, adding fuel to an already blazing fire of accusations and counter-accusations. King didn't hold back in her criticism, stating, "I think this violates legal, ethics, and risk sanctions or countersuits for malicious prosecution. The timing is clearly aligned with Blake's CRD complaint and New York Times coverage. The lawsuit's withdrawal avoided further scrutiny, but you have to be Helen Keller not to see through this BS." That's the kind of blunt assessment that makes Hollywood squirm and fans grab their popcorn for what's turning into a real-life drama more compelling than any scripted content. The plot thickens when you look at the timeline of events. Blake Lively allegedly filed this lawsuit in secret, months before her public court battle with her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni erupted into the spotlight. The apparent objective: to get his publicist to hand over potentially incriminating text conversations. These messages eventually found their way to the New York Times on December 22nd, 2024, creating a perfect storm of publicity just as the movie was gaining attention. The timing seems almost too perfect to be coincidental, but the filing gave Lively's team the opportunity to dismiss Baldoni's lawsuit without his team even being aware of the behind-the-scenes legal maneuvering. It's the kind of strategic chess move that would make Machiavelli proud, leaving Baldoni potentially blindsided by a legal maneuver he never saw coming. Melanie King wasn't done with her criticism, pointing out another suspicious detail in the timeline. The lawsuit was withdrawn without prejudice on December 19th, 2024, one day before her CRD complaint. No mention of sexual harassment appeared in the filing, despite claims by Stephanie Jones, who responded to a subpoena tied to the case. The capital letters emphasize what King sees as the smoking gun in this legal drama is a withdrawal strategically, timed just before Lively's formal complaint. King further noted that Jones's attorney suggested the subpoena related to a retaliation case involving sexual harassment, but the lawsuit itself focused solely on reputational damage and breaches of contract or loyalty. This discrepancy between what was claimed and what was actually in the legal documents raises questions about the true motivation behind the lawsuit. Digging deeper into the legal filings reveals that the complaint was brought before the Supreme Court of New York on behalf of Vanzan Inc. on September 27, 2024. According to Daily Mail reporting from April 18, 2025, the lawsuit claimed that 10 anonymous defendants had violated confidentiality agreements and harmed the plaintiff's reputation and business. Interestingly, Lively is not named in the documents, nor are there any specific allegations or defendants mentioned, a curious omission that has left many speculating about the true purpose of the legal action. The vague nature of the filing has only added to suspicions that this was less about seeking justice and more about gaining access to communications that could be weaponized in the larger battle between Lively and Baldoni. The Vanzan Inc. angle took an unexpected turn when podcaster Zach Peter brought it up in an April 19X video that delved into Ryan Reynolds' private life. Peter's video made some explosive claims, alleging that when Ryan Reynolds was still married to actress Scarlett Johansson, he had an affair with Blake Lively during the filming of Green Lantern. Such allegations aren't new in Hollywood, but the timing of their resurfacing alongside the legal drama has raised questions about whether old scandals are being dredged up as part of a larger PR battle. Peter further claimed that Lively and Reynolds ended their respective relationships by 2010. Blake was reportedly involved with Gossip Girl co-star Penn Badgley at the time, adding another layer of complexity to this tangled web of Hollywood relationships. The name of the company itself, Vanzan Inc., has become a subject of speculation. Zach Peter pointed out that the company was established around the time Blake filmed Green Lantern, coinciding with when she met Reynolds. The weird thing about this company name is that Ryan Reynolds happens to use Van a lot, right? His social media handle is Van City, which is in reference to Vancouver, which is where he grew up. But why would Blake Lively start a company when she met Ryan Reynolds, supposedly, and then name the company Vanzan? Like, what is Zan? It's the kind of detail that might seem insignificant, but has conspiracy theorists and celebrity watchers connecting dots that may or may not exist. Is Zan a a reference to something personal between the couple, or just a random syllable added to Van to create a unique company name, the internet continues to speculate while Reynolds and Lively maintain their silence. The silence from both Lively and Reynolds regarding these allegations is notable. In an industry where celebrities often rush to social media to defend themselves, their decision to not comment publicly might be strategic, or could suggest they're handling matters through legal channels rather than public forums. This restraint stands in stark contrast to the very public nature of the allegations being made, creating an information vacuum that fans and media outlets are eager to fill with speculation and theories about what's really happening behind closed doors in one of Hollywood's most prominent power couples. Adding fuel to this celebrity conflagration, there are reports that Blake Lively has landed on the Time100 Titan list, a recognition that has apparently sparked backlash from some quarters, who consider it an insult. This honor comes at a peculiar moment, as the legal battle with Baldoni heats up, creating a stark contrast between professional accolades and personal controversies. The timing raises questions about whether the recognition might influence public perception of the legal dispute, or if the controversy might overshadow what would otherwise be a career highlight for Lively. In Hollywood, the line between professional achievement and personal drama often blurs, and this situation exemplifies that complicated relationship. Further complicating the narrative, there are allegations from a crew member who worked on It. Ends with us claiming that Lively tried to take advantage of Baldoni during filming. While the exact nature of these allegations isn't clear from the available information, they add another dimension to the already complex relationship between the co-stars. On-set tensions between actors aren't uncommon in Hollywood, but when they spill over into legal battles and public allegations, they take on a different significance. The dynamics between lead actors can make or break a film, and reports of behind-the-scenes discord can affect everything from marketing strategies to sequel possibilities. Meanwhile, in what seems like a tangentially related but equally dramatic subplot, there are reports suggesting trouble in another famous Hollywood friendship. According to some sources, Hugh Jackman may have turned on Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively after allegedly using them to hide an affair with Sutton Foster from his wife. If true, this would add yet another layer of complexity to the web of relationships and alliances in Hollywood's inner circles.
I thought tonight I might try and rectify the situation a little bit. I'm not an idiot, right? I'm not going to try and do Darren Henson's incredible choreography. There's no way I would try and match Ryan's dance double Nick Pauly, because
the entertainment industry often functions like a small town despite its global reach, with relationships and rivalries interconnecting in ways that can affect both personal lives and professional projects. Fans have also apparently noticed that Hugh Jackman's jokes about Ryan Reynolds may be getting personal amid the conflict between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. What might have once been dismissed as the familiar friendly banter between Jackman and Reynolds, a public frenemy relationship they've cultivated for years, is now being scrutinized for potential hidden meanings or real tensions. It's a reminder of how quickly public perception can shift, with jokes that once seemed harmless suddenly appearing loaded with subtext when viewed through the lens of other conflicts and controversies. In what seems like an entirely separate strand of Blake Lively news, there are mentions of her having had a crush on Brad Pitt, creating an awkward parallel with the Justin Baldoni situation. Celebrity crushes are normally lighthearted gossip fodder, but in the context of serious legal allegations involving working relationships, such revelations take on a different tone. The juxtaposition highlights how quickly the conversation around a celebrity can shift from playful gossip to serious allegations, often with the celebrity having little control over the narrative being constructed around them. Adding a more positive note to the Blake Lively professional profile, Italian actor Michele Morrone has apparently shared his experience working with both Lively and Anna Kendrick. While the details of his comments aren't available in the source material, this mention suggests that not all of Lively's professional relationships are contentious. In an industry where reputation and relationships are currency, positive testimonials from colleagues can be valuable counterbalances to negative publicity, especially during times of public controversy. The legal battle between Baldoni and Lively appears to be heating up again, according to US Magazine. Legal disputes in Hollywood rarely proceed in straight lines, and this one seems to be following that pattern of escalation, temporary calm, and renewed conflict. The cyclical nature of these high-profile disputes often often keeps them in the public eye longer than either party might wish, creating an ongoing narrative that can affect both personal reputation and professional opportunities. For actors who are also public figures, separating the legal issues from public perception becomes nearly impossible. What makes this situation particularly intriguing is the multiple layers of personal and professional relationships involved. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are one of Hollywood's most prominent power couples. Justin Baldoni is not just Lively's co-star, but also the director of It Ends With Us, giving him dual roles in the creative process. The involvement of publicists, crisis management experts, and possibly other Hollywood figures creates a complex web of professional allegiances and conflicts that extends far beyond the two primary individuals. Add in the alleged connection to Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster, and you have a tangled network of relationships that would challenge even the most devoted celebrity gossip follower to fully map. The strategic timing of legal filings and media releases suggests a calculated approach to managing both the legal case and public perception. The withdrawal of the Vanzan Inc lawsuit one day before the CRD complaint, the release of text messages through the New York Times, and the overall choreography of legal maneuvers point to sophisticated teams working behind the scenes to position their clients advantageously. In Hollywood, where image and perception are as important as legal outcomes, these battles are fought simultaneously in courtrooms and in the court of public opinion. What remains unclear is how this will affect the legacy of It Ends With Us as a film. Movies with behind-the-scenes drama sometimes become defined by the controversies rather than by their artistic merits. The irony isn't lost on observers that a film about complicated relationships and alleged abuse is now surrounded by real-world allegations and legal conflicts between its stars. The line between art and life often blurs in Hollywood, but rarely in ways that are comfortable for those involved. For audiences, however, such parallels can create a morbid fascination that drives interest in both the film and the surrounding drama. The silence from all parties directly involved Lively, Reynolds, and Baldoni, who creates a vacuum that others are eager to fill with commentary, speculation, and alleged insider information. Melanie King and Zach Peter have stepped into this information void with their analyses and allegations, shaping the public narrative while the principal figures remain officially mute on the matters at hand. This dynamic is common in celebrity controversies, where those with the most at stake often say the least publicly, while commentators and purported insiders drive the conversation forward with varying degrees of accuracy and agenda. As this celebrity, legal drama continues to unfold, it serves as a reminder of how quickly the glossy facade of Hollywood can crack to reveal complicated interpersonal dynamics and high-stakes legal maneuvering. What began as a professional collaboration on It Ends With Us has evolved into a multifaceted conflict involving secret lawsuits, strategic legal maneuvers, and public allegations that extend far beyond the original working relationship. The involvement of Vanzan Inc, the curious timing of legal filings, and the strategic release of private communications all point to a carefully orchestrated battle being waged both in the courts and in the media. Meanwhile, the principal players, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni, maintain their public silence while the speculation flows around them. Whether this conflict will eventually be resolved quietly or continue to escalate publicly remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Hollywood's talent for creating drama extends well beyond what appears on the screen. As audiences and industry insiders alike watch this real-life drama unfold, they're reminded that in the entertainment capital of the world, the line between performance and reality is often blurrier than anyone would like to admit.